Fortunately.
Well, just hurry. We're just about to go live. In fact, I think the gods of Hangouts on Air have switched on the button. We are live, everybody, and welcome to Reason Speak. It's Thursday, 25th of June, 2015. We have with us today Bunto!
Hello, Sid. Hello, all. Thank you
Now,
for having
now
me on the
Bunto
show.
has told me that June is gay month, and he's waited until the 25th of June to tell me this. Now,
A day late, a
do you
thought
think
short.
do you think there's some kind of a agenda there?
Are gays lazy? Yes.
Do gays procrastinate in sending out their message?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're gonna be gay, you better be lazy.
But aren't gays supposed to be so creative?
Yeah, we are creative.
Well, then how does creative and lazy fit together? It
When it
doesn't.
happens, it's
See,
just
creative is a round hole, and lazy is a square peg. So how do they fit together?
I think it's a tighter hole.
Well,
Listen.
that's gay talk. Stop that.
Right. All I could say is that I'm just lazy this month. I guess it's just, but I'm getting ready for summer, so that's really what I'm concentrating on. How about you,
No.
Sid? You got those six-pack abs going?
Yeah, I've been working out. Well, I've been thinking of working out, and therefore, inside there is all sort of, like all sort of buff. My brain is buff.
Okay, you saw my meme where I said, "Welcome to the great debate community" yesterday.
I did.
Okay, did you like it?
It was very colorful.
I mean, did it make sense to you? Let me see if I can get it up here.
Makes sense to me? No.
Okay, people don't exercise much in this community.
Yeah, so.
They spend hours sitting in front of the computer doing
Only
absolutely
those that
nothing.
don't have animals to walk.
Right.
Because we compensate the hours in front of the computer. We compensate with time out there walking our animals.
Okay, listen. What would you think if we started a movement to get fit in the great debate community?
I think it would
Something
fail.
that
It would fail by the end of the first day of business.
right? Something that could unify both theists and atheists, our health.
No, that's got nothing to do with atheists. I have no idea why you would even consider that.
Okay, why does it bug me about people that are just hundreds of pounds obese?
Oh, I
overweight?
don't like that either, but it's certainly not a topic for, who can spend an hour talking about obese people who smoke and drink and it's all their fault anyway.
I've had
I mean,
two
who cares?
hangouts on that stuff already. All right, but okay, so it doesn't interest you, right?
Right.
Okay,
Not one little bit.
it's not as interesting as God or G-Man.
Actually, I'd rather talk about obesity than G-Man or God. Because obesity exists, God doesn't exist, G-Man doesn't
Okay,
exist.
not the G-Man anymore.
Oh,
Okay,
G-Man.
well, I'll give it a shot, man. Next month, I'm going to try kicking off summer,
Okay.
Great Debate Community Fitness.
Well, we've all got the
Right.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So, is it okay if we have like a show on fitness, one of your shows?
No, I don't think that the great debate community has to be fit. I want to see how feminists keep fit. That's
Okay,
what
it's
I want.
important.
Yes, it's important
Okay,
for the fit feminists to not freak out.
okay.
I don't know, just
Females
elaborate.
live longer than men because they want to keep fit.
Females live longer than men because they want to keep fit.
Right. I mean, they live longer than men.
No, that's not true.
Okay. Maybe we can get Michael Ann in here and really nail it down.
Let's nail it down. No, I'm not buying that.
Okay, you are not a believer that
I'm not
how
saying
female you are makes you live
yes.
longer.
Yes, I'm not a believer in that.
All right. Benefits to feminism are
You see, the thing about feminism is I don't feminism as a word or feminist, let's say, if you're describing me, or if I'm going to identify as a feminist,
Yes, female
I
rights.
am identifying as a feminist. But remember, when I identify as an atheist, tons of atheists will say, no, I'm not your kind of atheist, or I'm not your kind of, I'm a different kind of atheist. Blah, 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 blah. Feminism is probably going to have the same thing attached to it. So we need to define what type of feminist I am, or alternatively, what type of feminism is the only feminism that exists in my head.
I believe in more equal rights for females. So I'm a feminist. Right?
I am not that. My premise is different. I believe in
female domination.
In equal rights plus for females.
Okay, equal rights plus.
Yes.
Which means female domination.
Which not means domination. Domination is not the right word, because females aren't dominating. They're nurturing.
Okay.
Males, on the other hand, are dominating.
The patriarchy is dominating. The matriarchy is a nurturing environment.
That's right. Not the matriarchy. The gynocracy.
Gynocracy. Cool.
Yes. How about that for a word?
Alrighty. Our society would improve if there was.
I tell you where I get mocked a lot and laughed at a lot by women, specifically women, when I spout my, the women should be the leaders of everything opinion. Is they say, oh my God, can you imagine every leader of every country having PMS at the same time? So these are these 20-something-year-old or 30-something-year-old breeder women who are identifying with being presidents and prime ministers and thinking and projecting themselves into their spots. Say, oh no, women couldn't be a leader because PMS, menstruation.
Right.
However, fine, that's for them. But we've had women leaders. No, women leaders don't start leading countries when they're 25 or 35 or even 45.
Right.
PMS, menstruation, that's all done by the time most women get into power. So that's a red herring.
And plus, they do have, therapies for really bad menstrual syndrome.
I'm sure the government would provide.
Sure.
Their prime minister or president or whatever.
Okay, why don't women want to be the alpha leaders? Apparently.
They do. They've been beaten down and beaten down and beaten down, and furthermore, they've been beaten down.
Okay.
June's here. I'd like to introduce June to everybody out there. It's your first time on the show, I believe, June. June is from that country, and I can't remember the name again. It's south of Scotland, but
It's called the UK.
The UK, that's south of Scotland. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I hear Britain somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay, June, were you beaten down as a woman?
Yes.
Yeah! Scored a goal.
I'm always the one.
See, Bunto?
Okay.
See, you're speechless. You're dumbstruck.
Well, I mean, it's true.
I think you're shocked that I know what I'm talking about.
No, I know. I do respect what you're talking about. The thing is that here it is, the 21st century, and we're going to have our first woman president. It's hers to lose, right, Hillary? I believe the presidency.
Hillary?
Yeah, I think Hillary's going to win.
What a disaster that would be.
Why would that be a disaster? Do you see the Republicans that are running?
It's not a matter of Hillary. It's a matter of Hillary and her reputation. Hillary and her record. Hillary's not strong.
Hillary is not.
She's not tough. If she was as tough as she should be, she more than likely should have beaten Obama to become president the first time. So I don't see Hillary.
I don't think it was necessarily of toughness. It was of she didn't have her money in order.
I just want to say something though. You are an
American Indian.
American. Or United Stateser, or I don't know what do you call people from the U.S.?
American.
U.S.
But they're not American, because I'm an American if that's the case. Even though I'm in Canada, because Canada's in North America.
Yeah,
so.
But Canadians prefer to call themselves Canadians.
Okay, you're an American.
Right.
And June is a Southern Scotsman,
Englishwoman.
and I'm a Canadian.
Scotsman? I sound Scots, yeah, okay.
No, well, you
See if I can pull that one off.
From that
Not.
country, that's south of Scotland, which I can't remember the name. But anyway,
Yes, I'm from that country.
right, you're from that country. So,
I'm not there now, but I'm from that country. Actually, I was born in Singapore.
what the hell are you
really?
now?
Interesting.
And then
Did you like it?
Confucius, you say. I was too young. I was about 2 when we left, so I really don't remember it. But I remember Cyprus.
Oh, Cyprus.
You must be a
Yeah.
military
Brat.
Yes,
Brat.
Air Force.
Air
No,
Force.
and I'm not a brat.
No, you're
No, I'm
not
not a brat.
But you know the majority rules.
That's what they say.
Yeah, but that's not true. Oh, on this show, it's not even true because I rule.
Okay.
Well, of course.
How about in the military? There should be more feminine leadership.
Okay, well, we haven't discussed the definition of feminism yet. I haven't understood it.
Well, I get mine.
We need to both be on the same level playing field in order to talk about it.
I gave
just
mine.
think. Okay, well, I think for maybe June missed it, but I think that all major institutions that would remain after the switch, for example, all major institutions of government should be headed by women, internationally, globally. All governments should be headed by women. Well, we could start right there.
Interesting thought.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to.
That's my vision of the way out of this mess we're in. Out of the patriarchal mess we've put ourselves into.
I mean, most of the disasters in the world have been males. Hitler, Napoleon. Mao Zedong.
Go back to the ancient world. Go back to Sumeria and then move yourself and then start plotting forward on the timeline. How many? You can probably count on one hand the number of female leaders that appear over the timeline of history. You know, Boudica, Cleopatra,
Golda Meir.
and India. No, I'm talking about back in the ancient.
Oh, ancient world.
Right.
Cleopatra, Joan of Arc.
No, Joan of Arc wasn't a leader. She
Oh.
never ran a country. I'm talking about people who
Oh,
actually.
running country.
Okay, no, there were a few.
Catherine of Russia.
Right, but no, that was again in the 16th century or something, whatever, 17th. I don't know. I wish I could remember my history, even though I've read a lot of it. But
I
that's
can't even
another
remember
story.
stuff 2 weeks ago.
I was going to say.
All right.
History?
June, do you think females want female leadership or they don't care?
You know what? I've never really talked to any females about this. Isn't that interesting?
Talk to Bunter.
Really?
He's like a female.
So
Never
Sid,
really
okay,
been
Because
never
he's sensitive.
in-
No, he was sensitive.
No.
how messed up the world
No.
was, June, and that you wish women were running it? You've
Yes.
never had that
No.
conversation?
No.
Nobody wants to have the
Isn't that
conversation with me either, especially women.
Never had that conversation. Never
Were you
sat
afraid to
down.
or what?
I mean, we've sat down and we've talked about how bad things are and stuff like that, but the fact that women should be leaders has never really come up. I mean, nobody's put that to the table.
Like it was out
Yes,
of mind,
you-
or you were afraid, or what?
It just wasn't thought of, I guess, because we've always accepted males as being leaders.
So progress and change, thinking out of the box. That's not.
Oh, I'm up for that. I'm always up for that.
That's basically what this is. It's
And out of the box, and out of the box.
exercise. So,
I think out of the box many times.
wow, about this
I'm
time.
never in the box. No.
Well, I would have something to say about never being in the box, but This is live. This is family family educational television. So I say nothing.
Right. Yeah. So you have to be careful.
Hmm.
All right. How many feminists do you know, June?
None.
Yeah, I thought so.
None. Why? You know me.
Well, yeah,
Look,
I know
it
you.
says
Yeah,
so.
I know Sidney.
Yeah,
I know
read.
Sidney.
Where does it say that? Look,
They're
look, see?
feminists. Ask an atheist, feminist.
If it says I'm an atheist and
I
it
know
says I'm a
Sidney.
feminist, they can't both be lies, can they? Can they?
Can they? Really? I don't think so. Nah.
Nah, I don't think so.
So no advocacy for women in your experience so far.
No. Not interesting.
It is.
So is that hypocritical in one way or another? Does that show some kind of a brainwashing on your part that you've been indoctrinated and you didn't realize it?
Possibly. Or it just possibly shows apathy. We just accept the fact that men are going to be in, power.
Good. Well, when Islamic State takes over the UK, when the Islamic State takes over England and Wales, they definitely won't take over Scotland. But when they take over England and Wales, I guess you'll just accept living the way it is.
No.
That's what you say.
Because then our children are at risk. And
Oh,
Mama
no, they're
Bear
not. They'll be
comes out.
taken. Oh, I see.
Mama Bear comes out when
I
kids are
see.
at risk.
Got it. But why would the kids be at risk if they follow the rules? Why would they be at risk?
Kids won't follow those rules. The UK kids won't follow those rules.
They will if they get
They
the shit
weren't
kicked out of them.
brought up on those rules.
Yeah, well, things will
They
change.
have enough trouble keeping their own children following those rules. Modern day.
I know, but what if it was the state was implementing those rules?
It wouldn't work.
Sharia law in the United Kingdom is it's an inevitability given if you kind of extrapolate the timeline as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's already females going up to them and saying, "Why are you behaving like this? Why are you putting out these messages?"
I actually saw a very
interesting
YouTube. I saw a very interesting YouTube the other day of, do you know Chudari? What's his first name? Anjem Chudari or something? Anjem Chudari? Or
No.
he's a pretty vocal Islamist in the UK, British born, but an absolute absolute Islamic statist. And I saw a video the other day of him talking to some other elderly Muslims, with the dress and the beards and everything, and they were screaming at him, "Get out of here! Take your stupid ideas and fuck off and get out of here! You don't know what they they were pissed off at him." So I think the UK has is not in as much trouble as people think it is, because people like these Islamic extremists in England will be brought down and tamed by the Muslim community in England, and I think that I commend that. I tell you something. When I saw that video, it made my day, because that's the only way to curtail any of this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the kids over there. We didn't grow up that way. We grew up with manners.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up with being respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know it has changed, and the children are not as respectable, and they don't remember the manners too well.
Mm-hmm.
But they are still UK kids, and me being part of the UK, I know that there is in there the UK pride. They might not show it right now, but when it comes to something like that, the UK pride will come out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember the UK pride coming out after those bombings and whatnot, both by the IRA and by the detestable Muslims.
I was thinking the Falklands or something.
Well, Falklands wasn't in Britain.
Oh.
That was you know, there's no danger.
It was a
here,
colony.
so yeah, sure, we'll support you. It's on the other side of the world, for fuck's sake.
That's when like all the British banded up, got all, you know.
They got all, yeah.
America.
That's where Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher, went to war.
Margaret
Okay.
Thatcher.
Now that you see, that's where that screws up my whole, you know, women are.
Peaceniks.
I got to think about now. No, I'm still thinking that women should rule the place.
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher was a mistake.
Are you sure?
I don't think she was a mistake. She made. Was it a mistake to actually go to war over the Falklands? Because
Well, it didn't
what
get
would have
anything.
happened if England had backed away and said, "Okay, whatever it is."
Well, they would have
Falklands is
taken over Falklands. I mean, that was a frontier, you know.
I know, but
A
it might have been a frontier 250 years ago. But let's face it.
I know, frontier.
It's not now. Yeah, I mean, it's not now.
Yeah, but
they
what would have
kind of look at
happened
it as-
if Margaret
It's like
Thatcher
with
had?
Ireland. Ireland is you know, is a stop between the ocean and the UK.
Well, you were pleased that you guys went over there and took it back. Hi, Kenny.
Hello, Kenny. Finally, I have no idea. how to
What's
get
up?
hold
Hello,
of this guy.
Kenny.
Yeah, I don't know why I was signed in as secular TV either, but I'm pretty
was
sure
it
it was Sid's
you?
fault.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
Wow, you
What we
got a lot
talking
of
about today?
power now, Kenny.
Today we're talking about hypocrisy as the main heading, underlined by feminism, and it's also the 25th of June, and it's 25 days too late that Banto has told me that it's gay month in June.
It's gay month.
It's gay month?
He couldn't tell me like on the 1st of June. No.
June is gay month.
Is that why you have beautiful people? Are those men or women? I can't tell.
Oh, does it
Women.
really
They're
matter?
women.
Oh, okay.
I can get men.
They're beautiful ladies.
Yeah, it was hard to
Tattoo.
tell at first. I'm only being able to see it for short bursts.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, they do
Okay.
look a bit more lady now that I looked at it longer.
Well, okay, I know something we could talk about.
Drink it
Feminism.
all up.
The female attractiveness spectrum, where women have to be beautiful in our society.
Well, what's not beautiful about those women?
That's
Other than they got those ugly tattoos.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that's confusing when you try to talk about beauty, because the tattoos are actually, I'd say, probably one of the best things in that picture.
You like
That's just because
tattoos.
I like tattoos.
I don't.
Okay, when you wake up and turn on your computer and watch TV and look at a magazine and look at a newspaper, you always see a depiction of what is a beautiful woman supposed to look like, correct?
Well, that depends. When I turn on my computer, I go to Tumblr and I see a lot of porn.
Right?
So, yeah, and that varies.
Mhm.
When I watch TV, I watch King of the Hill,
Porn. Okay, yeah.
and that's animation. I mostly just watch cartoons on
Well,
TV.
how about the general, Kenny?
I don't read
always-
magazines.
Kenny, is your camera on?
No, because I'm a little bit
Because-
naked right now. I might put some
Yes, I
pictures
can
on
tell.
later.
I can tell. Look, you're totally black. You don't have any shiny clothes on.
I might turn the camera on later, but I got out the shower, so.
But on the general, wouldn't everybody agree that society foists upon us what a beautiful woman is supposed to look like?
No.
Mhm.
I
No.
mean, I guess, but society's stupid. Why are you concerned with what they think anyway?
Because
How does
they
society
tell us
do
what
that,
to
Hunter?
do,
Where
Kenny.
do they tell you what to do? I've never been. I don't see where. I can understand when I'm reading the magazines and I'm seeing the pictures and I'm watching the TV and I'm seeing the beautiful people, but this, that, and the other. But I don't do those things, so I'm not being told what you say. I'm being told. How are they telling me? How is society telling me anything about
They-
these women?
Have a standard that goes along the female attractiveness spectrum.
I hear you, but back it up. Where am I being told?
Oh, on
I mean,
everything.
I get what you're saying when you say that they constantly show a certain type of person in, I guess you're talking like commercials and maybe certain movies, but again, why should we be concerned with what society thinks in that aspect? Because society's stupid.
Well, let me
you
ask you this
guys are
question.
renegades.
Those two women in that picture there, do you think they give a fuck what society thinks?
Well, that's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is that, on the whole, in the general, mass media tends to dictate to us what is beautiful.
Then don't
Yeah, and
follow
that's why I
mass
don't
media.
watch mass media.
Exactly.
Because they're stupid.
There's an off button, remember?
It affects
Well-
children too.
Ostriches stick their heads into the ground in order to not see something obvious to all.
I've seen that cartoon.
So, anyway,
Have you
what I'm
ever
trying
seen
to
a
say is
picture of an
that
ostrich with his head in the ground, other than a cartoon, other than one
as
that's drawn?
feminists, I think it's important for us to understand that there is such a thing as the female attractiveness spectrum and what the media message is about women. Like, for example, Kim Kardashian, right?
Oh, and I'm not a feminist, by the way. It sounded like you said I was
You're not a
feminist.
feminist.
No,
You're
I'm an
not for
egalitarian.
equal rights afforded to women.
I'm an egalitarian.
I'm a feminist, sorry.
Egalitarian.
My feminism trumps your egalitarian.
So we're talking, I'm guessing 3 feminists and an egalitarian.
But egalitarianism went out in the
No, I'm
19th
just
century
me.
with the French
No,
Revolution.
Junie's
I'm
not a
just me.
feminist.
Oh, okay,
She's-
so we've got
Junie's not a feminist, she's just a regular guy.
okay, we
You
got
got-
2.
Two feminists, and one of them
And a
doesn't
Jew.
understand feminism, Sid. Okay, so you think women should have equal rights on par with us, Kenny? Yes or no?
Oh yes, of course. Everybody should have equal rights.
Okay, so the depiction of females in mass media, you approve?
Well, I don't really watch mass media. You'd have to give me an example. Give me some specific.
Fox News ladies. How about that? The archetypical Fox News
But who
read.
watches that?
The
I don't watch that. Kenny doesn't watch that.
The things that come out of their mouth are too stupid for me to focus on their appearance.
Sure, the substance is stupid, but the look, the
The
message.
the only thing I can think of about the look of a lady on Fox News is, if I remember correctly, they're not allowed to wear pants, and I think they're all blonde.
That's right. We get to see plenty of leg.
Yeah, so I definitely think that they should be allowed to wear pants if they want to.
Okay.
You know, you can wear pants and talk about stupid bullshit.
The mythical, non-attractive newsreader lady. Where does that exist within mass media?
Huh?
On the radio.
On the radio, right? But
Well,
not.
I
in
don't
any
find them
visual.
I don't find them attractive.
Oh
So
my
they would
God.
be unattractive news ladies in my book.
You can't recognize what is attractive on the female attractiveness spectrum,
The fuck is the spectrum you're even talking about?
dude. Every
The
day in
models.
media,
that,
we
you
are
know-
saturated with what a beautiful woman is supposed to look like.
So is
Do you not recognize it?
there a hypocrisy underlying all this?
Well,
I mean,
yes,
I think I
if you're a
kind of
feminist.
get what you're talking about what a beautiful woman is. I can't talk. Beautiful woman is supposed to look like. I'm guessing something along the lines of big boobs, big ass.
All right. Why do they
slim
say Kim
hips.
Kardashian is hot, Kenny?
Why do people say Kim Kardashian's hot? She's
Right.
got big old ass. She's got that ass.
Okay, that is attractive, primarily to
No.
Afro-American men, right?
Her ass is attractive. I don't find all of her attractive. If I could just have the ass separated from her body, then it could work as a relationship.
Okay, Kenny.
Remind
Now
me
the
not to
question
stand
is,
up.
were you conditioned to like that ass, or did you arrive at it at your own thinking?
Was I conditioned? I don't think so. I
Kenny,
usually just
just
look at an
admit the
ass and I like the. Well, I'm more of a boob man, to be honest, but.
If you were not hammered every day with how hot Kim Kardashian's ass was, you wouldn't have even known it was beautiful.
No,
You
I don't
realize
think
that?
so. I think that we're evolutionarily built to typically like big asses and big boobs. They're a sign of fertility or something like that.
Kenny, I remember
Big
when a big
asses?
ass was
No,
not
big
attractive.
hips. Wide hips are a sign of fertility. It's supposed to be a sign of, being able to give birth easily.
Right.
Not a big ass.
Yeah, Kenny, I remember when a big ass was unattractive.
Yeah, I
Yeah, look
don't.
at Twiggy.
Yeah, and then there you go, Twiggy. I mean, you have to admit it, Kenny. You're conditioned to know what beautiful is in a modern day society.
I mean, I guess I might have been partially conditioned, but my whole point is that these standards of beauty, they don't universally apply to what I consider to be beautiful.
Fine.
Good.
If you were tasked to judge a contest of who is a beautiful woman, you could successfully
Is
navigate.
my mic really loud?
I don't know, is mine too low?
I just got done shooting a video, so it might be louder than normal.
You can put your clothes back on. Okay, Kenny, but if you were tasked to judge a beauty contest, could you do it successfully or not?
Kind of sounds like something's knocking against your mind. But...
Well, I don't know if everybody would agree with my judgments or my outcomes of who wins. You know, if you have a young lady that's got half of her head shaved and lots of tattoos, she
Kenny,
stands to get a better rating.
Let's say it's a capital punishment if you fail. I mean, so you could successfully navigate a beauty contest to the satisfaction of society in the general.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yes,
probably. I mean, whoever's, you know, whatever one looks like a fucking Barbie doll or something, whichever
Right.
one closer
I
to
rest
that,
my
I'm gonna
case.
pick
You are
that.
conditioned to know what beautiful is.
Well, that's not true because everybody in that contest will be the one looking like the Barbie doll from her neighborhood or from her community, so they'll all be trying to look like Barbie dolls.
Right.
I would even go so far to say that if you could not do that, you would be categorized as a sociopath in our modern society.
Okay.
What?
That sounds like fun.
What?
You have to know what beautiful is in our society, or
There
else.
is no beautiful. There is no objective beautiful. It's all subjective.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, yeah,
There's more-
there is this one definition that I guess you could say is the most popular definition of what's beautiful, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go by my own definition of beauty
That's all right,
because
Fine,
that's what matters.
but listen, there's more substance to beauty than to the God concept. Wouldn't everybody agree?
Do you think the God concept is beautiful?
Wait, what?
There's more
I
substance
have no
to
idea.
beauty
I
than the
don't
God.
even know what the fuck he's talking
What?
about now.
I mean, couldn't you guys all agree what beautiful in the whole, you know, in the general, than what God is about?
No,
Wait, is God
because
beautiful now?
What's
beauty
that?
is subjective. Hold on a second. Beauty is subjective and real, and God is conceptual and not real. So
Okay, so yes, you're right.
apples and
Sophia Loren,
apples and oranges.
Sophia Loren makes more sense than God, right?
I don't know. I've got to hear them talk first.
I don't even hear. I don't have to hear Sophia
I've got
Loren
to hear
speak.
first what Sophia Loren has to say, and then I've got to hear what God has to say, and then I'll tell you which one. it is.
You'll be a listening. You'll be a waiting motherfucker because there's no God, man. There's
Well,
more substance to
then that
Sophia
can-
Loren's beauty than God.
I'll let Sophia Loren go first. She's first to speak.
Anyway, the female attractive spectrum is vital to understand if you're going to be a feminist. I'll rest there.
I disagree with you. It's got nothing to do with attractiveness whatsoever. Feminism, nothing. At least my brand has. Did I say nothing?
You like
Yes.
female leaders because they are attractive?
No, because they're effective.
Was Margaret Thatcher attractive?
No.
Well,
But
other
her
than
beauty was-
Margaret Thatcher, I mean, she was pretty hot.
Her beauty was her alpha, her gumption. She
Did you
was
see
a
how
hard
she had
Iron Maiden.
she had her husband Dennis like totally pussy whipped? Beautiful.
Margaret Thatcher was stronger than 90% of the men in England, just in her will. Wouldn't you agree, Jim?
Even in her grave, she's stronger than 90% of the women.
Yeah, that would.
Sorry, English guys.
So that is attractive. That's an attractive trait in a woman. Strength.
Well, leadership is an attractive trait. It doesn't have to be in a woman or a man. It's a
Well,
leadership. It's got
see-
nothing to do with, you know.
Well,
And
here's the thing. As far as a personality trait of a woman being strong, that again kind of depends on whoever their partner is going to be. Because
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
yeah, because you can't. I mean, it could work, but it's really complicated to have two dominant people in a relationship. So if both of them are trying to be dominant, then you're probably going to run into some problems. But a powerful woman would definitely be better with dating submissive men, and they definitely exist. Or submissive women, whatever she's into.
Okay, George Bush as a woman. I mean, could you guys even conceptualize that?
Well, it would be a very stupid woman.
Right.
So that's
I guess
the first problem.
Would it be like Sarah Palin?
I don't know, because it's been a while since I've been watching their clips, but George Bush is stupid in a more entertaining way. Like George Bush could easily be a clown for hire.
Okay,
Sarah
but
Palin
look,
is stupid in a scary way.
an admirable. Okay, remember how Bush called himself the decider? Because he knew that was an admirable quality trait in a leader.
I guess, but for me, step one would be pronounce things correctly.
Right. What I'm trying to say is that those are traits that
But that's a problem with dyslexics.
we
They
need.
have trouble pronouncing things correctly.
That I'll say this, that we require in our leadership, that they're strong-willed.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be an answer to why there haven't been very many female leaders in the world, Sid.
is that the answer?
Could that be a conclusion?
Well,
I think June pretty much summed it up. That's the way
if we're talking about the world, there's probably going to be different reasons for different countries. I mean, our Middle Eastern fellows, it's pretty obvious why they don't have female leaders, or at least as many. So, as far as America, I'm not sure why America hasn't had a female president yet.
We're going to have one, right?
Probably.
It's hers to lose.
Why do you? Who's she going to be running against? Who's the Republican?
I predict Rand Paul.
Okay, now are you sure that Hillary's going to win the Democratic convention or whatever they call it?
Yes, it's hers to lose.
No, not the actual election, but
the convention,
the
nomination,
whatever they call it. I don't know.
The nomination, Sid. Yeah, it's hers to lose.
Against who? Bernie Sanders?
Oh, there's not going to be anybody of any stature going against her. Maybe that Bernie Sanders guy, but she'll win the nomination, and then she'll be pitted against Rand Paul, I predict.
I pity
It's like
who lives in America.
Just as they picked Mitt Romney in some sort of misguided choice, the Republicans will do it again with Rand Paul.
So, in other words, we're going to have another Democratic president? Or Democrat for president, I should say?
I hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah. I mean, I think this country would go to, again, I mean, everything that has improved since the Bush years would go to waste. Don't you think? I think.
What's improved since the Bush years?
Oh, God, at least we're kind of out of Iraq. We're kind of out of Afghanistan. The economy has gotten a little better.
I've got...
Israel's not saying jump, and we automatically do what they say.
I've got 2 words for you, buddy. Islamic State.
People?
Not that people. The whole ISIS movement. It's just not an isolated bunch of people. It's well funded. It's organized.
Oh boy, I wouldn't be surprised if ISIS was a CIA operation.
Aren't they just doing drone strikes on ISIS though? Because there's no real movement.
ISIS has taken back that Dohana, whatever they took from Syria. The one they were kicked out of 4 months ago, they're back in. there's going to have to be a clean, a serious. There's going to have to be a serious ground operation from somebody, like a really a clean them out operation, like they did against Adolf and other extreme Nazis, extremist Nazis.
Yeah, but the thing with them is that every time you just get rid of them, another one pops up. We've been doing that shit for so long.
I don't think so. Not if you can turn enough of them around to teach others not to do that.
No,
that's the thing, is you have to, educate them to not become Islamic extremists. Give them a little bit of rationality.
Definitely.
No, I believe ISIS was an Israeli exercise in order to get us in a conflict with Iran.
Maybe we could gas them with hash oil. That'd make them be a little bit more peaceful.
Hold on a second. What did he say? It's an Israeli plot to what?
I believe ISIS is an Israeli exercise in order us to be complicit with their war in Iran.
There's absolutely no connection.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Well, what is it that you're smoking? Because I need some.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sid's a Zionist, isn't he?
Most Jews want the United States to automatically do their bidding without question. Therefore, they created ISIS.
Tell us more.
Well, I mean...
Well, how? How did they create ISIS?
Well, the greatest fear is that Israel won't have a monopoly on nuclear weapons in the Middle East. And now with this agreement with Iran, that's sure to go by the wayside. So they created this ISIS thing, subsidized it with the Saudis in order to, have a fait accompli to attack Iran.
No, it's absolutely believable. So was it Israel then who brought down the towers in 2001?
No, it was the Saudis.
But Israel and the Saudis to you are the same thing.
Not quite. All the Saudis are oil.
And all the Israelis are what?
Oh, that's world domination.
All the Israelis are freedom and democracy in the Middle East. That's all, right?
Well, okay. Well, how about this subject? It's not a very pleasant one, but the church shooting. Have you been vocal in your admonishment?
All I can tell you is this. Christians, it's dangerous to go to church. Don't go to church.
I've been reading his manifesto. I'm not done with it yet.
Yeah? What have you
What
learned?
did he spout?
He's not against, well, first of all, he's not against Christians. He's against black people. It's not a religiously driven shooting. It's a racial thing.
Right.
So
Then why
if
did it
you're
happen?
somebody like the fuck's that guy's name? Josh Fuckstain,
Fused
making videos about how it's not safe to be a Christian because of this shit, you're an idiot.
He's an idiot. Okay, well, let me ask you this, Kenny. Should that flag be taken down and destroyed forever?
Talking about the rebel flag?
Yes.
I don't know. That's one of those things where it personally doesn't offend me a whole lot, but
Your neighbor
when I
hangs
see
up
it,
a freaking Stars and Bars in home of the KKK plaque outside his door. You're fine with that?
well, none of my neighbors have it here because most of my neighbors are black people and Middle Eastern people, so rednecks know they couldn't try to do that shit here. But I've seen it before when I used to live in Virginia, and it didn't bother me a whole lot, but it was kind of like, that is a house I don't plan on visiting anytime soon. That's all it really was. Symbols don't bother me.
The Civil War was how many hundreds of years ago, and these people are still concerned about what happened?
Oh well,
to their side.
some of them think that the South is going to rise again. I've
That's
been
right.
fortunate enough to have some conversations with those people, and you kind of just nod your head and go, "Uh-huh, yeah, sure they are."
Led by Texas, of course.
Oh yeah, well no, Texas just wants to secede
See,
and become its own thing.
Why shouldn't they?
state. So anyway, you didn't answer the question. You want that flag taken down or not?
No, not really. Like I said, symbols don't bother me.
So it's
What if it
okay
was a
to.
Nazi flag?
Nazi
the,
flag's cool too.
Ku Klux
Go
Klan.
ahead and
Well,
fly
you
your
would-
Nazi flag.
Ku Klux
It's
Klan
a-
flag.
What about the
Go right
KKK
ahead.
marching down your street? You're all for that?
I'm all for that because I got rotten tomatoes I want to throw.
Yeah, what do they want? What are they marching for? Can I have a gay pride rally right
Tell
after?
white supremacy.
White supremacy.
Hey. Gay pride isn't hate.
No, I know it's not, but it'll piss them off, which is why I want to schedule it right after their march.
No, they should be part of the Gay Pride March. It's the only condition they can.
There you go. We can tie-dye their KKK robes, get some color in there,
Mm-hmm.
put a couple of
They can
nipple
show how
tassels
tolerant
on
they
them.
are by joining in the Pride
Okay,
March.
so
right?
if like the Afro leadership in your town wanted you to march in solidarity with them against the flag, you would demur, Kenny?
If they want me to march with them, that totally depends on what day they want me to march on, and if I have other shit to do.
Oh, really? It's not that important, solidarity?
Like I said, symbols don't really bother me.
In your mind, what was the civil rights movement, Kenny?
What was the civil rights movement? It was a movement to get rights for, well, not really just black people, but, you know, for everybody.
But primarily
Primarily
was
for black people.
Yeah, but and all very well, they got their rights, but there's
Yeah.
no ways they can
Did
enforce their rights. They can. There's no
Well,
ways
it
they can
didn't.
enforce
Well,
the
it didn't
rights.
happen. It didn't happen overnight, as I think we all know. Those of us who know American history, it didn't happen overnight.
They didn't really get their rights anyway.
Do you believe it was a struggle, Kenny?
Oh, definitely. So many people
Also
lost
true.
their lives.
So you wouldn't invest some time to march in solidarity for the people that worked hard for the rights that you enjoy today?
If we're honoring the people that worked hard to fight for those rights, then yeah, I would be more likely to consider it. What I thought you were saying is marching against this
But
flag,
true,
this
I
symbol.
mean, you don't think Martin Luther King would march to have that flag taken down?
I don't know, he might. But that's his
believe
thing.
it.
That's not my
Martin
thing,
Luther
because
King's a
symbols
Christian.
don't bother me.
So, he,
Have you ever marched with the civil rights?
Have you ever marched with them?
Yes.
I think I did when I was a lot younger. I think I did when I was like 8. Not recently, though.
we don't have to do shit like that here in this backwater of a country that I live in, because it's not an
Well-
issue. And everything that's a fucking huge issue in the United States
Well,
is not an issue in this
Canada
country.
is a rural
And-
country
hold
of
on a
35
second.
million people, while America is a country of over 300 million,
It
Sid.
makes no
Well, first of all,
damn
if you're going to get
difference.
all the black people in Canada to march, that's going to be a kind of a small march.
There's no reason for the black people in Canada to march because they're black. They wouldn't do that. There's absolutely no reason for that to happen.
Really? There's no racism in Canada?
There's racism in every community
No sets
Right.
on the hot seat.
throughout the world. However, in terms of the big issue, the hot national topic in this country, it's not same-sex marriage, and it's not what else are we at? Anti-homosexuality and anti-abortion and anti-this and anti-that. There's no hatred here. There's none of that hatred. It's all been done. It's all been solved. But remember, on the other side of the world, I saw this yesterday or the day before on a video. ISIS, our dear friends, lowering some people in jumpsuits in a cage who are in a cage, lowering them into the swimming pool so that they drown. Okay.
Barbaric.
Another one. When they have these guys in orange jumpsuits, they're leaning. They're on their. How they on their knees and hands behind their back, and they got something tied around their necks, and they're all connected with a cord. What they've got tied around their necks is a detonation something or other. So when the button is pushed, all their heads blow off.
Holy shit, that's some
This is happening
villain
today in the world, and you guys in America are fucking talking about how homosexuality and how abortion should be.
No,
I mean, that's really fucking ridiculous. I'm pissed off.
I kind of want to know.
Watch out. Don't fucking hold me back.
Who's the guy in ISIS that's job is coming up with new ways to kill people? Because what you just said sounds like some Bond villain shit.
Get a job in Hollywood, but that's not neither here nor there, Sid. It seems to me that you would be upset if people in Canada protested the same way we do here.
They did already. They did protest. It's happened. We've gone through all that. But 20 years ago.
I mean, not everybody can be like America, Sid.
Thank
That's
God for that.
Well, you know what? I mean, you're offended by certain symbols, right, Bunto?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so you can go to the march for us, because we're not offended by symbols.
You, as an African American, won't express any solidarity with the people that struggled for the rights that you enjoy today.
Now, see, you're taking one thing and you're trying to make it something else, okay? Let me just define this very clearly for you. I appreciate the people who laid their lives on the line to fight for the civil rights that I have today. I, however, am not offended by swastikas. I'm not offended by rebel flags, KKK hats, racist songs, none of it. It's
because you haven't been terrorized by those symbols during your life. Like,
how about cartoons? How about cartoons
actually,
of Muhammad?
Yes. Cartoons of Muhammad? No.
Does that offend you?
You haven't been terrorized as a civil rights leader.
That depends on what you define as terrorism. Was I hosed down and chased by dudes in white hoods with shotguns? No. But I've definitely been discriminated against because of my skin color.
Okay. So that's
and
not
even
good
after
enough
that, I
reason
still
to...
don't find symbols offensive.
So that's okay. Wow, incredible. So that's still not a good enough reason to march in solidarity against those symbols of hatred.
No, because here's what you got to realize: is that those symbols don't mean anything by themselves. Swastika
to many they do.
A swastika doesn't do anything by itself. In fact, the swastika used to be a Hindu symbol for, I think, good luck. It's what you decide.
The Hitler mustache was very popular at one time.
Yeah, what's his name? Charlie Chaplin?
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, he used to rock
now
it.
many people don't choose to wear a Hitler mustache, Kenny.
Right, well, here's the thing, is that when you obsess over what those symbols stand for now, or when you obsess for what they used to stand for, it keeps the definition of that symbol just that, either Nazi propaganda or KKK propaganda. But when you don't let it bother you, it takes the power away from that symbol.
Oh, really?
Because the symbol by itself has no power.
Okay.
Exactly. See, Bunto?
People that actually take these symbols to heart, like the guy who went to the church and shot everybody.
I'm offended by the that rainbow flag that the gays use all the time. That really does offend me.
At least they don't go into churches killing people.
No, it's not that. It's just that you go to a business, it's got this gay flag. You walk past somebody's apartment or whatever, they got this rainbow flag, sticking out of their flower pot or whatever. Why is that something that needs to be advertised? I mean, where's the straight flag?
Because it's a symbol of solidarity.
Where's the flag that says, I believe in driving on the right side of the road? I mean,
gays are very cognizant of how hard equal rights are to come by in America, so they're proud to fly the flag.
And here's the other thing: if we're going to talk about the guy that went and shot up the church and killed some black people, do you think that the rebel flag created his racism? Do you think that it's the cause of his racism?
Not the cause, but it is part and parcel of his ideology.
Yeah, it's a symbol for his ideology. Okay, do you think that the fact that he wore that flag is what encouraged him to go kill people. Just the flag.
I wouldn't say it's the cause again. I'd say it was indicative of the substance of his belief.
Okay. So, therefore, the flag didn't kill anybody. The flag did not encourage his racism. It's just a flag. What we should be worried about is his racism.
A flag. It's a symptom of the sickness that runs through tolerance of hatred in America.
No, that's not correct. Again, there's plenty of people that have rebel flags that don't hate black people.
Yes, but there's plenty that do.
Right, which is why the symbol by itself doesn't mean anything.
No, that doesn't. That means that the symbol. I would agree that if we got rid of the symbol, along with the people that went ahead and fixed their ideology with that symbol, America would be a better society.
Or what if we just got rid of the people that use that symbol to mean racism? Well, and we just left the symbol, we just left it, standing there. Do you think that it would recreate racism?
The symbol would just sit there and then, they would have fixed... It's like, you're right, it's like whacking a mole. I mean, if we whack the mole of the people that, agree with the stars and bars, believe me, somebody else will figure out some other hatred to go with it, because it is just a symbol of hatred against blacks.
Well, some people say that's a symbol of hatred. Some people say it's a symbol of Southern pride. Again, it all just goes with the person.
People that want to apologize for it, the only reason they do that is because they want to, further institutionalize their racism.
Really?
Yes.
So a guy that just happens
I'll give you an example.
wear...
Let's suppose the KKK decided to co-opt the gay flag, right? I don't believe it'd be as successful as if they kept with the stars and bars.
Okay.
They know that the stars and bars is good, what would you say, commodity for hatred in America. Hey, you don't like blacks? We got the stars and bars here for you, more so than the gay flag.
Right, and then you also have the people that just wear that flag just to wear it, or they fly that flag just to fly it, and they don't hate black people. So again, the flag itself doesn't cause the hatred.
Stars and bars, for what purpose, Kenny?
I just told you. It's because they say that it defines Southern pride. They say that's what it's supposed to represent.
In a confederacy that was traitorous towards the Union.
Hey man, you can take that up with one of them. I'm just repeating the definition that I've heard.
It's not taking up with them. That is fact. That Southern Confederacy was traitorous to the Union, and we had to wipe it out.
Yeah, well, you have to keep in mind that a lot of these people, they don't like the government either.
Right,
they don't like the government.
Traitors.
So so they see being a traitor as a good thing.
Okay, what in your mind, Kenny, was the good points of the Southern Confederacy?
What was the good points of it?
Yeah, what did you appreciate of the Southern states, what they tried to do in the Civil War?
The Southern states in the Civil War, I cannot think of any good things about it right now.
I rest my case. Oh my God, Kenny. And I'm glad you didn't have to work so hard for that one.
But you don't know the history. Hold on a second, Bunto.
Taking this up with me isn't... I'm not the best person to take this up with because I don't fly the stars and bars.
Don't you care about American history, what was important to African-American history?
But Bunto, why don't you...
but I don't care about the symbol.
Bunto, why don't you discuss a little bit about the history that led up to the secession, and then also discuss why Robert E. Lee actually surrendered? Can you do that?
Okay, 2 points there. Okay, what happened was the slavery issue in America led to the Civil War, so-called states' rights over what the majority of the Union wanted, which was, the end of slavery. That's what led up to the Civil War, okay? Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, and all the states seceded because they were afraid.
No. Hold on a second.
Yes.
We have Virginia. Who led Virginia?
They weren't the first state to secede. It was South Carolina.
Virginia.
All right.
Virginia still had Robert E. Lee.
Right.
As a leader when they were part of the Union.
No, he wasn't. He was just a general in the United States Army from Virginia at the beginning of the Civil War.
Yes, but didn't he become the president of the secession?
No, Jefferson Davis became the president of the South during the Confederacy.
Oh, right, he just became the big general.
Robert E. Lee was their #1 general.
Mm.
And, okay, the second track of why he surrendered, right?
But
Because
why did he support? Why did he support Virginia against the North?
For some misguided reason. But
Okay, now
anyway,
this is now don't get murky on me. Hold on, get. Let's have some detail. Some misguided reason. He's actually.
yeah,
we can actually delve into that.
A traitor rather than support.
No.
Yes.
You can't say.
Yes,
You can't say.
yes,
Yes, maybe
yes.
he was a traitor, but the traitor is the traitor part is right at the very end. After he's done this, that, and the other, then okay, he's now a traitor. But you can't go and say, oh, he decided to be a traitor.
The second he agreed to be a general in the Southern cause.
Not true.
Yes,
No.
that is true. And if you're an American,
The reason that he agreed, the reason that he did not, that he went to war, in fact, for the South, is because he had land interests in Virginia, right? Virginia was extremely profitable, extremely rich, because they had slave labor and they didn't have to pay their
Fine,
slaves.
that doesn't
Let
absolve
me
his
finish. Let me finish.
treachery.
Just let me finish. Extremely rich, and they didn't have to pay their slaves. Whereas in the North, because they didn't have this slave economy, they were able to be more creative and actually start up an economy that was moving along. Whereas in the South, that never happened, because your slave economy is not going to be a producing economy, a productive. So
Sure,
that's
I'll give you all
why. That is why he surrendered in the
It doesn't mitigate. No, the reason he surrendered, Sid, is because he had no army left to fight with against the North.
Exactly, and the reason before that is because of the whole slave thing in the first place was bound to fail, and the only reason he supported it was because of his own personal profit. That was it. That was the only reason he supported it, because he had land there, and he couldn't figure out that he was on the losing. There was a losing side to this.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask Kenny a question. Kenny, you saw how G-Man tried to mitigate slavery in the Bible as indentured servitude. Did you catch that part a couple of weeks back?
Not on here, but I did listen to his call with Matt Dillahunty, and I saw him do a hangout some time back about it.
Okay, could you find anything defensible about his position? About slavery on the whole being
For
that?
justifying slavery?
Yes.
No, I don't think slavery is justified.
Okay, how would you explain this to him?
How to explain to him that slavery is
How
not
would you
justified?
explain it to him?
Well, you can just look at what the definition of a slave is. You have to work for somebody. Well, first of all, you're somebody's property.
Right.
Then you have to work for them without any pay. All you get is, if you're lucky, the bare minimum, enough food and water to survive.
Let's say you have no freedom. That's basically
Right.
the... Okay.
But I had a
You're
question I
asked to
wanted to
march-
ask you.
You're
in the
asked
vein.
to march in a freedom march, okay, with civil rights people, and you tell them if I have the time.
Yeah, if it's a civil rights march, yeah, I'm not going to take work off for a civil rights march. That's just how I am.
Sid?
But I had a question to ask you when we were in the vein of symbols that stand for hatred. Do you think that the cross should be banned as well, the Christian cross, or the crescent moon for Islam? Because I would argue that, at least with the cross, that has resulted in the death and destruction of far more people than the rebel flag has.
I would advocate the cross being removed from any state property.
Okay, so let me just ask you to make sure. When you're talking about banning the rebel flag, are you talking about banning it from state property or like a person's personal property?
I would definitely go for banning it from state property.
Okay, I agree with that.
I would support its abolition on the whole.
Okay, so why do you support the abolition on the whole of the rebel flag but not the cross? Which is far worse. We can agree, right? It's resulted in far more death, far more
I
destruction.
agree. Baby steps.
Baby
Can
steps.
we
So
introduce
rebel
Randy to
flag,
the conversation,
rebel-
please?
Oh, sure.
Hi, Randy.
Welcome.
Oh, I don't mean to intrude. You have
No,
to
we just want to say hi, and
Well, no, I was listening, and I've been in the comment section for a while, and I found a lot of the discussion very interesting. The whole flag issue is really interesting to me, and I just kind of felt like I wanted to weigh in a bit, if that was all right.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I think it's interesting, like, we haven't banned things like, the Nazi flag or the KKK hoods and things like that. And I think there may be a really good reason for not doing this, because, one, it helps us remember. We should remember that history. We should remember what happened, how bad it was, just how fucked up everything really truly was. We should teach it even. And if we ban these kind of symbols, we kind of help people forget. And I'm not sure that's healthy for us. I would also consider, like, if you look at works of just books, lots of books have been, where would you draw the line if we're going to ban this symbol, this flag? Along that line of reason, I feel like you could ban the Bible, and you could ban KKK hoods, and you could ban lots of stuff. And, then one last thing I would add to it is, by not banning it, another benefit we get is something that Persephone 66 said very well. I don't know if you know who that is, but everyone can go pick out that channel. She said that by not banning these symbols and allowing the real fucking douchebags to wear them and mark themselves, makes it really easy to identify who the real douchebags are.
good one.
Good point there.
Okay, how about this? If you could have the choice of banning the flag or banning guns, which would you choose?
Neither.
Neither.
Exactly. Why?
Okay.
That? Laws do not work.
How many guns are enough?
Community cooperation works.
Community cooperation works.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're like in a small country like Canada, but in a major country, superpower like America, we have
Communities
too
are
many
very small.
wackos.
No, communities are very small and homogeneous across the globe.
Oh, and actually, yeah, community, like, who the fuck's got a siren?
So,
Okay. Anyway, yeah, community cooperation does kind of work as far as banning things go. If you belong to an HOA like I do, there's certain things that are banned here. And
Like your trash can
they're
outside.
enforced. Yeah, well, you can't have your trash can outside, but as far as something that I think would fall in line with free expression, they have a particular problem with playing death metal at very loud volumes.
Okay, Foxhole, you're afraid of banning guns in America because they'll take away your guns?
No. No, I'm not afraid of banning guns in America. I just don't think that that's a smart move. I don't think it's necessary. I'm for gun control, by the way. I'm for certain restrictions, certain laws, things like that. But you're never going to ban guns in America. That's just never going to happen.
Why can't we ban guns here in America?
It's kind of unrealistic. It's like saying, why can't we just, have people stop stealing things? Why can't we have people just stop, breaking into people's houses?
It's natural for people to own like 10 AK-47s as much as it is somebody to eat.
No, and that's a different argument. So again, I'm for gun control. I'm for restrictions, but you're never going to ban guns, and there's a very distinct difference in that statement. And so when you propose something
Australia has banned guns.
Have a tank. Well, that's not an argument I've made.
Oh, it's not. Australia can ban guns, but we can't.
Well, here's the thing, if I can just talk on this for a second. If you ban guns, all you're going to do is create a larger black market for them. That's all you're going to do. It's the same thing with drugs. So you're not going to, you might cut down on the amount of guns slightly, but what's going to happen is the people who are going to have guns now are going to be criminals who use the black market.
Right.
And
What
all
if
the
I
money's
told
going to
you
go
that
to criminals.
Australia has banned guns, they don't seem to have this black market full of criminals dispersing guns in their country. In fact, they have a dramatic reduction in gun violence.
I would cite your Canada argument. Different country, different culture.
They also do
Okay.
have a black market because in my times that I've been to the Silk Road, I've seen plenty of gun salesmen that are based in Australia.
Okay, so
What's
Australia
the
has as
population of
much
Australia?
gun violence as America?
What's the population of Australia? Anybody?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so it's a question of population, right?
More than
We have to
Canada?
have guns because
You
we have
brought it
this
up. You brought it up.
population.
No, it's a question of many factors, and I think you can summarize all these factors by saying it's a different country and a different culture, which implies lots of things like different populations, different population densities, different population spread,
Let me go ahead and simplify it for
environment,
you,
different
Foxhole.
history.
Let me simplify it for you. We have a culture here that's run by the NRA, that runs our Congress, and passes, or what would you say, actually dismisses any gun legislation with impunity.
That's
I mean,
just
they're totally free to run America the way they want to see it.
Lots of gun legislation has passed. Go look at the history of gun
Like what significant? Okay, that's very interesting. What significant gun legislation passed in the wake of the Sandy Hook shooting?
Okay, in a specific incident, I don't know, maybe none. But the point is, you made a big, broad statement to say that it's run by the NRA and all legislation gets rejected when that's just demonstrably not true.
That is true. You can't come up with it. I'll say this. I'll go ahead and I'll go meet you halfway. No significant legislation has been passed ever since the Bush years pertaining to guns. Clip size. Really? So now instead of like a 15 bullet clip, we can have a 13 bullet clip?
You have to define significant, but what was it? It was
How about
something
this for
70.
significant?
That's a restriction on gun control if you reduce clip size.
Oh, really? So they went down from what, 15 bullets down to 13? I assure you there's been no significant legislation as far as gun control during the Obama years.
What?
We have too many guns in this country, and we have too little political will to do anything about reducing the saturation of guns we have in this country.
There are lots of laws about guns. Do you recognize that?
Lots of laws about guns that prevent the nut from having a gun so he can go to a church and shoot people or go to an elementary school with his machine gun that his mom bought him. No, those laws aren't in existence.
Hang on, you can't prevent that. You realize that? You can't.
Why
ever
can we not prevent that? I don't think any civilian should have access to a machine gun, Fox.
The only way you can prevent that is to just lock everyone in a cage all the time.
No. The way we can prevent that is to bar manufacturers from the ability to sell machine guns to civilians.
You cannot prevent all human behavior. You just can't. It's idealism.
We can at least try.
Do you even know what makes a machine gun become fully automatic? Like, do you understand how that works?
Yes, its ability to hold down the trigger and many bullets to just spurt out like a hose.
But you do realize that a lot of the full auto guns are not designed as full auto guns. They're modified. Like, it's not just, you don't just make full auto guns.
I look at that as like a difference in distinction. All I know is that any civilian now in America can have access to a machine gun and take out whatever grievance he has against anybody in America at this point.
And it's not any civilian. I'm pretty sure you got to be 21 to buy machine guns.
You can be the most whacked out nut in America.
I want to agree with you, Buns. You're right on that one, and here's why. It's because the technology's there. And to be truthful, a 12-year-old could go and look around on the internet and figure out how to make look at a grease gun. My grandfather, Vietnam veteran, he explained this to me, like how simple a grease gun really is, and how this thing works, and how like just a couple of days in machine shop you can make one pretty simply, fully automatic. The technology's there, but here let's just say we banned guns. With household items, with common household items, I can go make a bomb right now that'll blow up my fucking house. My whole fucking house. Boom, gone.
Okay. But,
technology,
Fox, we're not having a problem with people making homemade bombs blowing up. The only homemade bomb was the Boston Marathon, right? That was a homemade bomb, right? That's not the problem. The problem is every week we're having shootings.
I'd say the reason you probably...
Hang on, I just want to recognize this point. Like, I'm not talking about any specific instance. I'm just talking about the ability is there. The risk is always there. With common household items that are sold at supermarkets and gas stations everywhere, you can make some really deadly, massive, dangerous fucking weapons.
Right. Okay, I'll agree with you then. But the problem that we're seeing in America is not so much the homemade bomb problem. It's more like
ban guns and become that. It'll always be something. You're not addressing the problem by
no, I don't. I'm going to stretch it out to where it'll always be something. I know what the something is. The something is automatic weapons in America. There's too many. And civilians should have no access to them at all.
Well,
assume we banned them. Assume we banned them. What's to stop people from just using some other weapon to do the same things?
Okay, there would be nothing to stop them, but we would definitely have a reduction in casualties.
How do you know that?
I know that. Well, these weapons at one. Okay, listen. Let's suppose we banned automatic weapons and big clips, right? Civilians couldn't have big clips. Like maybe they could only be, to one handgun, maybe two.
Well, hold on a second.
If you're a collector,
There's
maybe three handguns.
There's too many maybes. Kenny had, I think, something to
Well,
add.
the thing is, the problem is
hold on a
not so
second.
much the technology, but the saturation of weapons.
Okay, but hold on. Go ahead, Kenny.
Oh, well, I was talking about the thing with the guns versus bombs. So the reason why you have more gun shootings and not bomb shootings is just because the gun is the easier thing to do.
True.
But the fact of the matter is, if somebody wants you dead, if I want you dead, and I can't get my hands on a gun, I'm going to figure the fuck out how to make a bomb and blow your ass the fuck up. So it's just like with what Foxhole was saying. If someone wants you dead, they're going to kill you one way or another. And if they want to kill a lot of people, they can use a bomb just as easily.
So that's your rationale for not having access to a machine gun.
Hold on a second. Go ahead, Randy.
I'll be fast. Just consider you did ban the all automatic weapons, all big clips. You banned all this stuff. Let's just say you banned the guns. And what happens if maybe they do start going to bombs? I think that's the very likely thing that'll happen. And how do you know casualties because of that won't increase drastically?
I would guarantee that the amount of gun violence would go down, and also the amount of bomb violence wouldn't ever even rise to that level of the reduction of gun.
You don't know
violence
humanity very well, do you?
I'll agree that if you ban guns, the gun violence will go down, sure. But that just means some other violence is going to increase.
Well, what I was trying to say, Fox, so I'll guarantee the reduction of gun violence would not be matched by the increase in bomb violence.
Prove it.
I'm sure.
You can't
it takes a lot of trouble to make a bomb, doesn't it?
Prove
I mean, there's a lot of
yes,
effort in there to make a bomb.
That's what I've sat here and explained to you. That even if you don't know how, you can go look it up on the internet. It is so simple. It is so simple to make incredibly powerful and dangerous bombs.
Okay, listen.
You would not believe how simple it is.
You go
home. Do you have a pressure cooker in your kitchen?
It really is. It's incredibly simple.
It's so easy. Okay, well, suppose this happened. You had a hard day at work, you came home, and you're really mad at your wife, so you take the time to make a bomb so you can blow her up.
Well, in that case, you would just stab her. You would just stab her or strangle her ass.
Right.
That's different. We're talking about mass murdering. We're talking about mass murdering. Bombs, I would say, are better at mass murdering than guns are.
And that's what we were talking about, mass murder, not domestic violence.
Well, I was talking about gun violence as a whole.
If people don't make elaborate things, they use simple things like their hands or a small weapon like a knife.
In fact, to be completely honest, if I was going to kill somebody right now, I wouldn't use a gun anyway, because guns create too much mess. I would just strangle their ass.
Maybe if we can make
That's serial killing 101, Bunto.
Listen, I know you guys are afraid to envision the time when America will be bereft of these evil things, much like the time before slavery. There was a time, before slavery, they never thought slavery would go away, and they finally had to have a civil war for it to go away. It's what's going to happen in America, too.
No, we're not afraid. Not in the context you're thinking. I actually kind of am afraid. I'll put this with a caveat, though. I'm afraid that the violence will get worse. When you try to ban things, not only now do you have the same violence of crazy people doing crazy shit, but now you got a lot of pissed off people who just want to do violence because you banned something they wanted to keep. And so I absolutely see that if you were able to have your way, the violence would, I feel like it would go drastically up, the casualties would go drastically up, and the overall severity of the situation, like we would just be in massive regret of this choice.
It's like this, Fox.
Undo it as quickly as possible.
It's like when you're running from a bear with somebody, you don't have to be as fast as in the bear. You just have to be faster than the person you're running against.
I don't know what that means in context to what I just said. So I am afraid, but I'm afraid that the violence will get worse and the casualties will go up. And I think there are good reasons to think that'll occur.
The violence will get worse is because these unbalanced people have been given way too much.
Banto, I don't think you believe
in
your
our
own
society.
Argument. I don't think you believe your own argument.
Oh yes, I do. I believe guns should be
I honestly
removed.
don't, because you're not making any sense. And you're
You don't think so? Okay.
Well, okay, I've actually
What laws do they have in Canada that you enjoy?
this twice, and to be honest, I don't think it would be fair. I'm not trying to be harsh. I just don't think that either of those responses met the challenge made. So let me ask you one more time. I've explained a bunch of the reasons. I feel like there are good reasons. There are direct correlation.
And it's impractical to get rid of guns.
I think that I'm asking you, there are good reasons to think that not only the violence would increase, but that the casualties because of the type of weaponry used would increase. And how would you respond to that directly? That's that statement.
Ostensibly, people keep these weapons because they fear government tyranny, right? They're Second Amendment advocates?
Not necessarily.
No,
I have guns because I like them.
That they use for having 20 machine guns at their house. That there's, the Second Amendment, they have the right to bear arms.
I don't have 20, but the guns that I do have, and one of the guns that I want to buy, the reason that I have them is because they're fun. Like, I plan on buying an AK-47, but I don't want it to defend myself. It's just because it's fun.
Don't help distract him. I'm trying to ask him a direct question here, and I would like to hear your response.
Okay, you said what I feel like the amount of violence would rise if we had draconian gun laws for a change, right? I don't believe so.
And so you think that a full clip from, say, an AK-47 can do potentially more damage than a large explosive device?
On the whole, yes. Because look at this. You could say, like, yeah, you could. Okay, let me. I'll describe it. You could say that you could put a bomb in like a stadium and knock out 50 people, right? While the guy with the AK.
You can put a bomb in a stadium and knock out most of them.
Well, okay, put a bomb in a stadium and give me a number, 500 people.
Like I said, and just so you'll know, and the reason I know this, because when I was a kid, we lived out in the country, in the middle of nowhere, and I actually did make a bunch of bombs, by the way, when I was a teenager.
Okay.
Make a bunch of bombs. And
we have a good bomb example right now with the Boston bombers, right? That was a crockpot bomb, right?
Yes, but listen, the point is that it's not even allowed.
About 8 people, right?
It was a pressure cooker bomb, not
a pressure cooker bomb, right? Yeah. And he blew away about 8 people, right? Okay.
Did you know that there were 17 people who lost legs, or something like that?
Yeah, and he maimed numerous others, right? But the actual fatalities, well, what is the difference between an AK-47 can inflict more damage than that?
I don't know. I think you've didn't have your weeds.
I think you're
well, that's your opinion. I don't ever express my opinions of the incoherence of your arguments.
You're using only fatality and ignoring all of the injuries.
Well,
hang on. Let me finish my point. When you fire a clip into, say, a crowd of people, you're not going to kill all of them. We've seen this occur, and so make the same argument. You're not making fair arguments.
That's not a fair. I used an example that actually happened in our.
It's not there.
I used an example that actually happened in our history, the Boston bomb.
And you ignored the evidence of that example.
The evidence was, I think 8 people got knocked off, and there was numerous maimed, right?
How many maimed? How many maimed? We're making an argument about numbers, so how many were maimed?
I'll say over 20. How about even more? How about over 30? Okay, fair enough, right?
Fatalities.
Okay, the Sandy Hook shooting took out 24 people.
Are we jumping subjects as we're doing the math? I thought we were doing some math here.
Yeah, exactly.
Away from it.
How is that not quite
We
from it?
talked
When
about something and you leaped away,
Yeah,
Randy.
finish with one thing and then go to Sandy
Yeah,
Hook.
you leaped away in the
Okay.
middle of this thing.
Okay, well, let me go ahead a little slower, guys. Bomb casualties, all right? The Boston bombing took out 8 people and maimed over 30, let's say. Okay, fair enough? Okay, the Sandy Hook shooting resulted in 24 fatalities. Okay, 24 is larger than 8, but I'll give you the maimings for the bombing.
I don't understand what you're
All
going
right,
to
so
Well, okay, the question was, doesn't a bomb take out more people than the AK-47 on the whole? And I disagreed. I said the AK-47 on the whole takes out more people.
We paused and we let you break that down. Now let us respond.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the things you're ignoring. You're still ignoring evidence. One, they didn't detonate all the bombs. They only got really one of the bombs really where they wanted it to be. And so we were very fortunate for that. But however, when you compare, let's say, it evenly, and let's say one bomb, just one of the bombs, to one of the guns and the clips, the sheer power there is just not even comparable. The bomb wins to one clip. Now,
But
if you want
that's
to add
not
a bunch
how a
of
machine
clips,
gun works,
wait,
Bob.
Let him finish, Bunto, please.
I didn't interrupt you. Now, if
okay.
you add a bunch of clips, fine. I'll add a bunch of bombs. And guess what? The bombs still win. As long as you evaluate the evidence fairly across the board, the bombs win. There's no argument there.
Okay, a bomb isn't utilized on a one-for-one basis with a bullet. It's usually one bomb.
Bullet is one bomb. How do you figure that?
That's
No.
what you just explained to me. You
One
said on a one-to-one.
Clip is comparable to a bomb. This is the weaponry we're examining here. That's
I'm
doing
sorry,
it
the
fairly.
beginning of your sentence interrupted the middle of mine.
Get
But
one bullet,
no,
okay, then the one pellet inside my bomb, and I've got thousands of pellets.
fine.
Right.
Shrapnel.
So, see, like, think about if you have a crate
Not
of, say,
comparing-
Molotovs, for example. It's not that hard to get a bunch of bombs around.
Okay, in most of the bomb attacks that we've seen as of late, they're not crates of Molotovs. They're just like 1 or 2 bombs, right? Now, in the attacks that we've seen, the
That's
shootings,
not always
they've
true.
been multiple clip weapons. Can't you guys see the difference and distinction between a guy with, like, a banana clip full of bullets and 2 bombs?
No, because actually the Boston bomb was like 4 or 5 of those bombs.
Okay. When was the last 4 or 5 bomb attack we've had, Fox, in America?
The Boston bombings. We just
It was-
stopped
I
them from
think it was
placing
like
them
2
all
bombs.
by chance. We got lucky and stopped them before they placed the rest of them. They had 5. 4 or
Okay.
5.
Still, I mean, can't you see the practicality of, like, it wasn't an optimum bomb attack, but would we dare say the Sandy Hook shooting was optimum? I mean, the gun was much more effective than the bomb there. I don't see how you could argue that fact.
In this one case, but again, imagine they had placed all 5 bombs and had as much success pulling off their attack as the Sandy Hook did. You wouldn't be comparing them the same way.
Okay,
You know it.
I'll say this. I'll give you this.
Very, very good point, Brandy.
But I mean, it's a good point, but it's not very practical, Sid, because how many multiple bomb attacks do we endure here every day in America?
In America,
I would say
not
not
so
that
often.
many, but we
Everywhere else,
endure
all the
multiple
time.
clip shootings every day. It seems. I'll say this: we probably get a multiple clip shooting once a week here in America today.
All right, look, take this. I'm telling you directly comparable country. I've been to Iraq, and there are lots of guns over there.
Yes.
It's actually more explosives. It's way easier for them to get explosives. And you know what the weapon of choice is? You know what most people die by? Explosives. People will use whatever is available. And if
To
you
compare
ban trading
A
guns,
modern Western country to Iraq and say, see what's happened over there can happen over here. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
yes, it
I
does.
mean, that is a
Because it
war-torn
doesn't matter
country.
the culture. Listen to what I said. You're not listening to me, I think. Listen to what I said. They use it simply because that's what's available. People who are going to do horrible shit are going to use whatever's available. And if you trade in the guns, you're trading them for something else. I guarantee you this is what people do. People who want to do insane, horrible, wicked shit will do insane, horrible, wicked shit no matter what you do. And so you are trading one kind of violence for another. And you're not addressing the violence itself.
Would
You're
you
trying to
say the
ban one
means?
tool they use.
would you say the means of doing these bomb attacks is readily available right now in America?
Yes.
Okay, then why aren't there scores of bomb attacks as much as there are as the guns?
Because the guns are easier to get a hold of right now.
Right, I rest my case.
I am thankful for that, because bombs are way more dangerous and deadly and destructive. They will cause
I'm not thankful for that one.
I'm actually kind of thankful for that, because I've been to
that's a
where explosives
very
are
misguided way of being
Not
thankful
pretty.
for violence.
Why don't you let people finish talking, Bunto?
Oh, okay. Well, you guys can finish your points. I'll just rest there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to hear it.
Well, no. With that, actually, it's a good time to end the show because it's an hour and a half we've been going, 30 minutes over scheduled time. But it's been fun. We've had a good time. I want to thank everybody who came in here, even Graham, who just popped in like 20 seconds ago. Hello. But Bunto, thanks as always. Do come back.
I do appreciate the conversation, Bunto.
No, no problem.
Absolutely. Randy, thanks a lot for popping in. June, first time on the show. We hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kenny. Kenny, you got to plug something.
I'm going to plug my YouTube channel, Mental Outlaw Studios. I'll most likely be uploading a new video there today where I talk about my interactions with the police. This is going to be great.
Excellent. Right on. Okay, well, you guys have been watching Reason Speak. Thank you very much for everybody who has watched us live and for everybody who will be watching this once it's up on YouTube. If you like it, tell your friends. If you like it, support us. Become a Patreon for Secular TV. If you don't like us, tell your friends. If you don't like us, become a Patreon and support us. So until next week, thank you very much for joining. I'm Sidney Winston, also known as Ask an Atheist, for Secular TV. Bye-bye. Be secular.